Hey everybody, welcome back to the van. Well, I want to talk a little bit here about the snow tires that I put on my van earlier, and what do I think of them, and what do I think about driving in the winter in my van. So first of all, I've got videos out talking about driving in bad weather, and they all apply. They really do. But since I've got snow tires, what do I think of the van, and how has it been handling in the snow, and what would I suggest to you if you are looking at going out in the snow in a van or an ambulance or an SUV. First of all, if you're going out in the snow, if you're going to be in the snow and you know you're going to be in the snow, I'm not talking just getting stuck there as you're going through a mountain pass or something like this. Spend the money and get yourself a good set of snow tires. If you don't want to keep them on all year long, find somewhere that you can store them and get yourself a really good set of snow tires for the winter. They make a big difference. Now, my van, the Transit. It's a 2017 Ford Transit. It has a limited slip differential. It's not four-wheel drive, it's rear-wheel drive. And I went from the stock tires that came with it to KO2s. Then I went to a Nokian snow tire. Now, during the winter, I actually had to end up driving my van for 2 weeks because my wife needed to drive my SUV because somebody rear-ended her car. So in a snowstorm, in icy weather, I was driving the van. And then the week following, I ended up driving the SUV again. So I got a good taste between the two. What's my SUV? My SUV is a Subaru. It's all-wheel drive, and it's got snow tires on it as well as the van. So here's my comparison. And I know it's not apples to apples. It's more like apples to bananas or bananas to oranges. But here's my thoughts and what I found by doing that. First of all, compared to the Transit, the Subaru is 75% better, maybe 200% better in the snow and ice than what the Transit is. Why? Straight out, it's all-wheel drive. The Transit isn't. If I was going to be driving this van year-round, commuting in all different weathers, living in the van full-time, I would strongly suggest if you were going to do that and you're going to be in the snow and ice and you had a job to get to all the time, whether the weather was good or bad, if you had the option, go with an all-wheel drive van. Strongly recommended. Since I've had the ability to compare them side by side, or should I say day after day, on the same conditions with snow tires and everything, the Subaru, an all-wheel drive, outperforms the van big time. It's no comparison really. It's that much better. But I'm not saying the van is horrible. The van is not horrible. You just have to realize, like I talked about before, that you're driving a much bigger vehicle in a van. Depending upon how your build is, you're driving a vehicle that's 3, 4, 5 times as heavy as the Subaru. Not only because of the size of the vehicle, but all the stuff you have inside the vehicle. If you've got a heavy build and you're comparing your heavy van with a high roof that's extra long to a smaller vehicle, you're going to notice a big difference just in the stopping distance, just in how you can accelerate, even if you have all-wheel drive, because it's that weight difference. But again, I'm not saying the Transit is horrible, but there is a huge difference. Now, what's the Transit like since I put the snow tires on it? Well, it is so much better. Now, the original tires that came with the van, which were Continentals, were horrible. And I mean absolutely horrible in snow. I took my dog over to go for a walk when I first got the van. I pulled the van up. We went out for a walk, came back, got in the van, and I got stuck. There was about 1 inch, maybe 2 inches of snow on the ground, and I got stuck with the stock tires. They were just horrible. So I went out a week later and put on the KO2s. KO2s were so much better. They were, the comparison was not even close. But I found while I had the KO2s that in the snowy conditions and the icy conditions, they absolutely did not shine like a true snow tire. So then earlier this year, in the spring of 2022, I guess it was last year, I went out and I put on some Nokian snow tires, and I have a video about the switch over to that. And now I've been driving this, like I said, while my wife was using my Subaru, and wow, what a difference. And I'm not talking just about accelerating, because honestly, if you're going to hammer it, if you're going to try to take off from a stoplight or a stop sign and it's a sheet of ice, you're messed up anyways. No tire is going to get you there. I'm talking about stopping. I'm talking about turning, how it handles, how it holds to the road. Wow, the snow tires are so much better. Really shines, and I mean really shines, when there's an icy road. It's warmed up. It's got a little bit of water on top of the ice. The snow tires just absolutely outperform the stock tires, and the KO2s absolutely outperformed it. Now, this is a stupid test, but honestly, this is a test that I've done with all my vehicles, and yeah, it's definitely showing how good they are. Backing into my driveway at my house, we have one of those knockdown curbs where you can just drive over it. It's not low, but it's not a square curb. It's just rounded off. When I had my big 4x4 truck, I'd gotten it stuck out there a couple times and had to put it in four-wheel drive to get it over top of that little curb when the ditch and everything was icy or there was a lot of packed snow in there. A couple times I had to take a few runs at it to get myself over that little hump. That truck was running KO2s. It was a four-wheel drive truck. With my van, when I was running the KO2s, I actually got stuck out there and I couldn't move forward. I couldn't move back with the KO2s. And I actually had to go and get the traction mats that I had and put under the tires to get myself out. That didn't happen just once. That happened a few times. Now, since I went with the winter tires on the Transit, I've actually pulled up there a couple of times trying to get stuck, stopping right at the edge of the curb, and I was able to get up over that edge. Now, do I know the conditions were exact? No, I don't. But I know that it didn't get, for the first time ever, it didn't get stuck. And both other people I stuck in had the K2s. So the difference to me right there told me that the winter tires were so much better than the KO2s. Now, with the Subaru, it doesn't even think about it. If one tire starts to spin, I'm up and over it still. If two tires start to spin, it still pushes me over. But with the van, I was so impressed. So again, if you're going to be driving your vehicle in the snow, if you know you're going to be living in your vehicle in the snow, if you're going to have to commute to work and back to where you spend the night in your van, get yourself some snow tires. It'll be well worth it. Now, cost-wise, and again, I'm in Canada. To put the snow tires on my van was $1,000. That was putting them on the rims that came with the van. If you're going to do a second set of rims, and it's entirely up to you, but it's easier to switch over, if you're going to do a second set of rims, you're probably going to be looking close to $2,000 to, again, in Canada, to get rims, tires, and to get them put on your vehicle, and then you have another set that you can put on in the summertime. For me, for the amount that I drive in the summertime, I've actually decided that it's cheaper for me to replace my tires every few years because they got worn down and put new snow tires on it than it is for me to get a second set of rims and to do the switchovers, because I just don't drive that much in the summertime. Now, I'm hoping this year that changes, but you just never know with the way the weather's going. So if you're driving in bad weather, get yourself some snow tires. If you're driving in bad weather, understand your vehicle's a little bit heavier. If you're driving in bad weather, like I said in the previous vehicle, take some extra supplies with you. Take a traction mat, take a shovel with you. Take some extra food with you so that you're prepared. But yes, snow tires, huge difference in the handling of the van, and just work so much better since I've got them. So until next time, get out there, be prepared, get some good tires on your vehicle, and we'll see you on the road. Bye-bye now.